Chihiro was only 22, young and beautiful, but her life felt nothing like a girl's in her 20s. She carried herself more like an 80-year-old drifter, weighed down by loneliness, wandering in silence through the days. One evening, she did something no one expected. She invited a filthy homeless man inside. His hair was greasy, his skin covered with layers of dirt, and his clothes smelled of years without a shower. Most people would have turned away in disgust, but not Chihiro. She did not flinch. Instead, she filled a tub with water and gently washed him clean. She scrubbed away the dirt from his skin, combed his messy hair, and gave him clothes so he could feel like a human being again. When he was fresh and tidy, she even sat down with him for a simple meal and a bottle of beer. But the old man didn't stay. He stood at the door quietly, ready to leave. Chihiro didn't try to stop him. She only smiled warmly, as if to say, "You are welcome, but you are free to go." That was her nature. Chihiro greeted everyone with kindness, carrying a smile wherever she went. But no one knew that behind her smile, her heart was unbearably lonely. At home, she sometimes crouched down on the floor and whispered to a cat as if it could understand her. Passers-by gave her strange looks, but she didn't care. She would still talk. At the park, she often sat on the swings, pushing herself higher and higher, only to feel the painful emptiness in her chest when the swing fell back down. Her life was like that swing, brief moments of freedom, followed by the sharp drop of loneliness. She was living with depression. She had quit her job at a shady nightclub, where hidden cameras captured young hostesses, and instead worked part-time at a small bento shop on the corner of the street. People in the neighborhood knew her past. They knew she had been a night girl. But strangely, the shop's business grew after she arrived. Every morning, groups of greasy middle-aged men lined up, not just for food but to stare at her, to tease her with shameless words. Even the older women mocked her. Yet Chihiro never snapped back. She never showed anger. She smiled at them all, as if their cruelty couldn't touch her. Her strange mix of beauty, warmth, and sadness made her magnetic. Men were drawn to her, but so were women. One girl in particular noticed her. This girl was quiet and shy, often hiding in the background. Every time she saw Chihiro in the park, swinging alone or walking with her free spirit, she secretly pulled out her phone and took pictures. She admired Chihiro's courage to live so openly, so different from herself. She wanted to get closer, but fear always held her back. Then, one afternoon, she finally saw something that changed her. Chihiro chased away a group of children who were bullying a homeless old man. Not only that, she handed the man her own bento, letting him eat while she went hungry. That moment gave the girl courage. After school, she walked into the bento shop, heart racing, planning to order food just to see Chihiro up close. But before she could speak, Chihiro flashed her a peace sign, a playful V with her fingers. The girl froze. Shock filled her face. Chihiro already knew she had been secretly taking pictures. Embarrassed, the girl turned and ran out of the shop in panic. The next day, in school, she couldn't help checking her photos of Chihiro again. A classmate leaned over and whispered the gossip, Chihiro's whole story. Her past at the nightclub, her struggles, her fall, and her present life at the bento shop. But instead of losing interest, the girl only became more curious. Her name was Yuran. She had always been timid, raised in a strict household where her father, a coal company man, controlled every detail of their lives. Even her mother lived in fear, a housewife who bowed to every command. At dinner, something as small as forgetting the soy sauce could trigger her father's anger. Yuran watched as her mother rushed to the kitchen in panic, while her father's hand froze in the air, his face stiff with rage. Yuran hated this life, the suffocating silence, the constant fear of making mistakes. And that was why she admired Chihiro so much. Chihiro was everything she wasn't: bright, free, untamed. One evening after school, Yuran followed Chihiro again. She trailed her all the way to the sea, where the waves brushed against the shore under the glowing sunset. Yuran hesitated for a long time, her socks wet from the tide, her feet sinking into the sand. Finally, she gathered courage. She stepped forward. The two girls stood side by side, saying nothing, just listening to the wind and the water. Yuran wondered why Chihiro never even asked her name. Then, out of nowhere, Chihiro turned, cupped Yuran's face gently in her hands, and said softly, "I don't dislike you. In fact, I like you. From now on, you can come to me openly." Warmth rushed through Yuran's heart, a feeling she had never known. The sea breeze was cold, the waves lapped at their feet, but under the golden sunset, the world felt warm.